Hello friends, Misty here with Queen Bee's Vintage. Welcome to or welcome back to our channel. Thank you to everyone that has reached out with emails, PMs, and DMs and comments on previous videos as to where we've been. We've got some wonderful messages from you guys and we really appreciate it. Things have just been super busy and crazy in our lives right now. We are both doing good health-wise. My mom has been busy. My 92-year-old grandmother now needs to have someone with her all the time. So my mom and her sisters have been working to prepare for that. And I've been super busy with my kids. It's just a busy time with their extracurricular activities. And I have been trying to get my house put back together from Christmas. I do kind of a full spring clean when I take Christmas down and really clean every area. Sometimes I reorganize as I go, so it takes quite a while, but I really need to do that in order to be productive and creative. So I have been trying to get that done. I have been working on a Valentine's Day vignette, which is right here behind me. And I will have a video for you guys doing a little tour of that and some of the other areas I have decorated for Valentine's Day. I know, guys, better late than never. It's getting pretty close to Valentine's Day. I am, however, hoping that with today's DIY video, you can actually take some of these DIY tutorials and implement them into everyday decor. We're going to be working on a rag wreath, a rag banner, and a few other things that I think that the techniques that are used you could use in your everyday decor. So I hope that that will be beneficial to you and that you guys will enjoy it. I'm wearing my hair natural today. It is naturally curly. It is very fuzzy and frizzy and needs to be tamed down with little clips and everything. So many of you make nice comments in regards to my hair. I usually have it straightened and then curled or wear my extensions, and today this is it. So thank you for all the nice compliments in regards to my hair and our videos and the decor and everything else. We appreciate you guys so much. We have the best subscribers out there, and we really appreciate you being patient with us while we prepare for 2020 and moving forward. We have a lot of fun things planned. So we hope you'll stick with us for that. But in the meantime, let's get into the DIY. So sorry guys, before we get into the DIY, I need to introduce the newest member of our family. This is Miss Minnie. She is about 12 and a half weeks old now. And she has been keeping me very busy with house training. So that is another thing that has had me very occupied and has been filling my days. Are you saying hi to everyone? She just woke up from a nap. And we're probably going to have to go outside again, huh, Minnie? So I just wanted to introduce this cuteness to all of you. You will see her again in other videos, I'm sure, as you see our dogs in a lot of our videos. So, what else do you want to say? She's just too cute and has already completely stolen my heart. Mr. Stubbs likes her and tolerates her. They play a little bit. Poppy, on the other hand, still isn't too sure about her. They play every now and then, but Poppy still likes to get pretty snappy with her. So hopefully as time goes by, they will become better friends. So now that you've met Miss Minnie, let's get into the video. You ready? Okay, for our first tutorial, we are going to be using one of these heart wreath forms from the Dollar Tree, as well as their rolls of fabric. We will be using black and white and approximately 7 rolls. You'll need a pair of scissors, For the first step, we're going to unroll our black fabric, or you can start with your white fabric if you'd like, whichever you prefer. We're going to use the raw edge of the fabric, which I'm showing you here. And we're going to go ahead and I just kind of eye it up, but you're going to make a snip about 1 inch up and 1 inch across all the way along the bottom edge of the fabric, as I'm doing here. Now we will take each section that we have snipped and we will tear it all the way up so that we have 1 inch strips of fabric. And you will continue doing that with the whole piece of fabric until you have several strips. Now that we have all of our strips cut, I'm going to bunch them together in one hand and run my other hand down the length of them to pull all of the loose threads off. And that is what I'm doing here. And I just continue to do this until all of the loose threads seem to be removed. You will find 1 or 2 along the way as you start tying your wreath. And those strays can be removed at that time. Now we are going to take our 1 inch strips and fold them in half. And then we are just going to take our scissors and cut that so that now we have 2 strips of the black fabric. And we are going to continue to do that with all of our black and white fabric strips. As I said earlier, I used about 7 rolls of the fabric. I think I had 4 black and 3 of the white, and these will cover both of our projects. Now I'm going to take the heart wreath form and I'm just going to snip this tag off of it. And I will be starting with my black fabric strips. And I'm going to show you this, but I went ahead and changed this up. I was just taking the black fabric and basically taking it around the top wire of the wreath, and I would just fold the fabric in half and make a loop, pull it over or under the wire, and then loop my fabric over and pull it through, like using a slip knot technique. And as I did this, I found that the wreath wasn't going to be very full this way, and it was going to take a lot more of the fabric than what I had. So I switched it up, and in this next clip, you'll see me, I've made quite a bit of progress on the wreath, but I am going to show you and explain the technique. So now you can see I have made quite a bit of progress here. It is looking very full. As I turn it over, you can see that it has a woven look to it. I will give you a better close-up of that once it's finished. I'm going to take the white fabric now and go under the top wire of the heart wreath and the middle wire, and I am going to wrap the fabric around and double knot it, as you can see me doing here. Now I am going to take another piece of white fabric and I am going to go over, well, under the bottom wire of the wreath and the middle wire and double knot it, just like I did the first one. And as I do this, I will push those together, and now I will take a black strip of the fabric. I'm going to go under the top wire and the middle wire of the wreath, and again I'm just going to pull it around and double knot my fabric. I will then get a second piece of black fabric and do the exact same thing, but I will be taking it under the bottom wire of the heart and the middle. And as I do this, I just continue kind of pushing the knotted fabric strips together and continuing on. I just alter the white and the black, and I will continue this same technique all the way around the wreath until it is complete. I've placed my rag heart on my old chippy door that is in my entryway. You will see it when we do my Valentine's Day decor tour, but this is how it looks. And let me show you the woven effect that the technique makes the back of it have. This is how the back of the heart looks. Looks like I missed a few strings. I'll have to tidy that up. For our next DIY, we are going to be using 2 packs of these wooden hearts from Dollar Tree. Each pack comes with 5 hearts. Some of them have arrows and some don't. We will be using the ones that do not have arrows, and we will have 5 hearts without arrows in total. I am going to paint them with pink acrylic paint. I will show that paint a little bit later in the video, and I'm going to be painting them front and back. Now that my hearts are painted, I've gone ahead and drawn a Harlequin pattern onto my heart. This takes a little bit of time and some measuring, and I did that off camera. And I am just going to use this slanted artist brush and some black acrylic paint. You can use any acrylic paint of your choice. And I am just going to go in and start painting in my diamonds. And they will alternate every other. I'm going to put this in fast mode because it does take some time, and I will show you what it looks like when it's finished. If you are unable to paint and draw your own Harlequin pattern, you could use some decorative scrapbook paper and cover the hearts that way, or maybe you could find a stencil with some sort of pattern that you like to do this technique. Once I get all of my diamonds filled in using this angled flat brush, I will go back with a liner detail brush to sharpen all of my edges. Now we are going to take one of these larger wooden hearts, also from the Dollar Tree, and I'm just going to remove the tag as well as the burlap handle that's on it. We are going to paint our heart with some acrylic paint. I am using Liquitex acrylic in light portrait pink. I just have put it on a paper plate, and I'm using a wider artist brush to go ahead and apply my paint. I will be painting both sides in the light portrait pink as shown. Now that I have both sides of my wooden heart painted, I am going to draw out my Harlequin pattern onto the larger heart just like I did on the small one. And I did 5 small hearts in total plus the larger heart. So I will come back and show you the next step once the heart is completely painted with the Harlequin pattern. Now that I have my Harlequin pattern painted onto my heart, I am going to take this Sharpie gold paint pen. You want to shake this really good. I am going to prime it on a piece of scrap, and then I am going to draw a gold dot in between each of my black diamonds. You will go top and bottom and then do both sides of the Harlequin pattern as well. So you will have a gold dot on all 4 corners of your black diamond. I am just going to continue doing this over the entire heart until I have it completed. While I'm doing this, I also want to apologize to you guys for some of the formatting in this video. I was fighting a bad upper respiratory infection as well as a migraine as I was trying to film this. So I apologize when the video is not in proper format. I hope you'll bear with me, and I hope you'll enjoy these projects. Now that I have my gold dots all over the entire large heart, I am going to go ahead and take the 4 smaller hearts. Actually, there's 5 smaller hearts. We're using 4 for this project though. And I am going to do the same exact thing to the small hearts, adding those gold dots to each of the corners of the black diamonds. And once I have all 4 of these done, I will come back and we will move on to the next step. For the next step, I have opened my Silhouette Studio on my laptop, and I will be using my Silhouette Cameo to cut out the word love. As you can see on the screen, I have chosen a font and typed out the word love, and I will size it to fit the middle of my large heart. I am not going to give a tutorial on how to use the Silhouette Cameo or Silhouette Studio. That is a video in itself, and there are a lot of really wonderful tutorials here on YouTube that you can find that will teach you how to use Silhouette Studio and your Silhouette Cameo. I have chosen this Cricut brand gold mirrored metallic vinyl to cut out my word love. I have placed it on my Silhouette cutting mat, and I have put it into the machine and cut it out. And now I am doing a technique called weeding, which means I am removing the excess vinyl away from the lettering. This mirrored vinyl was a little difficult to weed, but it just takes a little bit of patience. Now that I have removed the excess vinyl away from my lettering, I am going to go in and weed out the fine little details. So there's 2 loops in my L that I will need to remove, and the center of my O. Oh, and as you can see, the whole O came up here. I'm just going to pull out the center and put my O back down onto the sticky cutting mat. And then I'm going to remove the center of the loop in my E. For the next step, I am going to take the Cricut brand transfer vinyl, and I am going to cut it out in the length and width that I need to cover my word love. Now that it is cut, I am going to remove the transfer vinyl from the backing and place it over my love, and I'm going to burnish it down really good. I have a little tool. It's made by Cricut, and I'm just going to go over the top of it really good and make sure that it's nice and secure. And then I am going to pull the word love off of the cutting mat, and as you can see, it left a few pieces behind, but that's okay. I can remove that later. I am now going to gently remove the backing from the word love, and I want each one of my letters to adhere to the blue transfer vinyl. This may take a moment, and you need to be patient while doing this. Now that my word love is already on my transfer tape, I am going to take my large heart that I painted and put the Harlequin pattern onto, and I am going to line up the word love and place it. I want it to be centered on the heart, and I think I might make it a little askew on there. I kind of like it at an angle rather than just straight across the heart. So now I am just burnishing it down really good so that my metallic mirrored letters will stick to the heart. I'm going to go over it one more time with the Cricut tool, and then I will slowly start pulling the transfer vinyl away from the letters. And as you do this, if your letters try to lift, just take that Cricut scraper and burnish it down really good, and then slowly start to pull the transfer tape away again. This mirrored vinyl proved to be a little harder to work with than some of Cricut's other vinyl products. So it did take a little bit more time. I used the weeding tool to kind of pull the foiled letters away from the transfer tape. It normally isn't this time consuming or difficult. I can usually lay something out and easily remove the backing, but this slick mirrored finish on this vinyl tended to be a little harder to use. Phew, that took a minute. This is how the heart looks with the word love on it. So I am going to take 4 of the small hearts that I have painted the Harlequin pattern on. And sorry guys, I did this before I added the gold dots, but I am going to put them together, and I am going to drill 2 holes on either side of the hole that's in the center of them so that I can string them onto a garland. Now that I have all of my hearts prepared, I am going to use some jute twine. You can also pick this up at your Dollar Tree, and I am going to string the smaller and larger heart onto the jute, and I'm just going to eye them up and evenly space them apart. Now I am going to take my black and white fabric strips that I have left over from our rag wreath tutorial, and I am going to just take them around the jute and double knot them. And I will be alternating the black fabric strips with the white fabric strips, and I will be doing approximately 4 to 5 between each of the hearts. I will just continue this technique until I have fabric strips tied between each one of the hearts and the garland is complete. This is how our love rag banner turned out. For our third tutorial, we will be making some ornaments using this heart embossed scrapbook paper. It is Recollections brand, and it is in the open stock department at Michael's. We will be using what's left over of our wooden heart packages from the Dollar Tree. We will be using the wooden ones with the arrows that were left over from the previous DIY. I am going to take my pink embossed scrapbook paper, and I am going to turn it over and lay it down so that the front is facing down. I am going to take my wooden heart and lay it up in the upper left corner of the scrapbook paper. And I am just going to use a pencil to trace the pattern of my heart out onto the back of the scrapbook paper. You don't need to worry about tracing around the arrow because we will be doing something different with the arrows, and we do not want the scrapbook paper to cover those. So just trace your heart, and where you've skipped the little spots where the arrows are, you will just go ahead and continue cutting in the shape of a heart. So now that I have my heart cut out, I am just going to take it and lay it over the top of my wooden heart to make sure that it fits properly. Now that I know that my paper heart fits perfectly over my wooden heart, I am going to set it aside, and I am going to take my wooden heart and some Mod Podge. I am using their matte formula, but you can use glossy. It is whatever you prefer or have on hand. And what I am going to do is take a flat artist brush, and I am just going to apply the Mod Podge onto my wooden heart. I am going to avoid the arrow areas at this point, but I want to cover the rest of the heart with a good coat of the Mod Podge, making sure not to miss any areas. Now that I have the wooden heart thoroughly covered with the Mod Podge, I am just going to place my paper heart that I cut out over the top, and I am just going to burnish it down securely. You want to avoid any air bubbles between the wooden heart and the paper heart. That way the paper will stay firmly affixed to the wooden heart. Now that I have done that, I am going to use that same brush, and I'm going to go over the top of the paper heart that I just applied to the wooden heart with a generous coat of the Mod Podge. Again, making sure to thoroughly cover it. Once I get my Mod Podge applied and the heart completely covered, I will set it aside to dry completely. My heart is now dry, so what I am going to do now is, with a smaller artist brush, I am going to take the same Mod Podge in the matte finish, and I am going to be applying the Mod Podge to each end of my arrow that we did not cover with paper. I'm just going to apply a generous amount. Making sure to cover it completely. And I am going to do that on both ends. Now that I have each end of the arrow thoroughly covered with the Mod Podge, I am going to take some gold glitter. I purchased this at Hobby Lobby for $7.99. It's kind of a chunkier, coarse glitter, and I'm just going to pour it over the top of each end of my arrow, dumping the excess off and tapping it onto a paper plate. I like to do this over a paper plate because then I can fold the plate in half and dump the glitter back into the jar. Now that the Mod Podge and glitter have dried completely, I'm going to use the small artist brush again and the same matte Mod Podge, and I am going to go over the top of the glitter. I like to do more of a dabbing technique rather than a brushing technique. Although the glitter is dry onto that first coat of the Mod Podge, sometimes you'll have a little bit of shedding, and I find that by dabbing it on, there is less of that shedding. So I just kind of take my time and dab it on, making sure to completely cover that layer of glitter. This will seal the glitter onto the end of the arrow, and there will be no glitter shedding once this is done. After I get both ends of the arrow done, I will let it dry completely. Now that my ornament is completely dry, I have taken the gold metallic pen and just went around the edge to finish it off, as well as around the top edge of the heart. I'm going to use a stylus now, and I'm going to flip the heart over, and there is already a pre-drilled hole here. I'm going to stick the stylus through that to create a hole in my decorative paper, and once I do that, I will turn it over and kind of ream that hole out a little bit. Doing it with a stylus like this makes the paper have a more tidy finish. I've got some black and white checkered ribbon that I picked up at Hobby Lobby, and I am going to just feed this into the hole. And once I've got that through, I'm just going to bring it up and make sure my ends are even and tie a knot in it. And this will be my hanger so that I can hang it on my Valentine's Day decor tree in my entryway. So let's take a look and see how it looks. Here it is. I really like how it turned out, and I love the way it looks on my Valentine's themed tree. I went with a black, white, and pink theme for this year. So I've added some black and white Harlequin ribbon to the tree and some other fun accents. This is my Chanel tree that I had in the entryway at Christmas, and I've just taken the Christmas decor off and have added some Valentines, and of course the Chanel ornaments are still on there as well. So you will see a full view of this tree in my upcoming tour video. That should be out in the next day or two. So I hope you guys like how the ornament turned out. Let's move on to our next tutorial. For our fourth tutorial, we are going to take this wooden love sign from the Dollar Tree, and I have just put some white paint into a little lid, and I am going to use a flat artist brush to completely cover the word love with a good coat of white paint. I will probably do 2 coats on this so that it is thoroughly covered and I don't have any of the wood showing through or any streaks or brush marks. So I'm just going to get this completely covered, and I will then let it dry completely. Once it is completely dry, I am going to do the same Harlequin pattern that you saw me do on the heart banner. I will be hand drawing the Harlequin pattern onto the word love. This will be time consuming, so I will do this off camera. Again, guys, I apologize for the format of the video. I thought I had the camera properly set on the tripod, but maybe it was migraine brain, so sorry that it is jumping back and forth as far as the format goes. I have no idea what I did wrong. I know it looks like it, but no, my jacket was not running across the paint in these tutorials. There was not a spot of paint on it when I was done. Before I draw my Harlequin pattern on, I am going to take some black acrylic paint. I am going to be using Liquitex acrylic in the color Mars Black. And I've just put a little bit onto a paper plate, and I'm using a smaller flat brush, artist brush, and I am going to go ahead and paint all the way, the edge all the way around the word love in black. I want this to have a nice finished look. I will also be painting the inside edge of the heart cutout on the letter O. So again, this will be a little bit time consuming, but I want it to look really finished off and professional. So I will finish doing this off camera and come right back. Okay, my Harlequin pattern is now finished, and I'm loving how it's looking so far. I am going to be taking this same gold Sharpie paint pen, and I'm just going to do what I did on the Harlequin heart as far as putting the gold dots on all 4 points of each black diamond in my pattern. I will get this all done, and then I will show you what I'm going to do next. I'm now going to take the gold paint pen, and I'm going to go all the way around the letters in the word love, as well as around each of the black diamonds in my Harlequin pattern. This will highlight it a little bit and make it look more dimensional. I really love how the love sign turned out. I did think about adding some flowers right here to the corner of the L, but I decided with what I had going on, I just wanted to leave it plain. For the last tutorial, I am going to use this little wooden shadow box piece of art from the Dollar Tree. I am going to use the leftover heart from the garland. I've done a little stacked rag bow with some of the fabric remnants, and I'm just going to hot glue this to the center. Here's that cute little Dollar Tree piece of art completed. Well, this is it for today's video. Thank you guys so much for stopping by today. I hope you enjoyed these 5 Dollar Tree DIY Valentine's Day tutorials. As I said in the beginning of the video, I think you could use some of these techniques and implement them into your everyday decor or into future holiday decor projects. We have Easter coming up, as well as spring in general, and summer's around the corner. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. I really appreciate you watching. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Leave me a comment below and let us know what you would like to see moving forward. And if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button if you'd like to follow us on our creative journey, as well as that notification bell, which will notify you each time we upload a new video. Thank you again for being with me today, and I'll look forward to seeing you in the next one. Bye-bye.